You know, in music, you've got producers who follow trends, and then you have the ones who actually create them. But every once in a while, someone comes along who's more like an architect, literally building bridges between entire cultures and sounds. Today, we're talking about one of those architects.
To really get a sense of his impacts, you just have to start with the numbers, and they are wild. We're talking over 2.26 billion. That's just his streams on Spotify alone. A number that big isn't just a hit song, it's a global footprint.
And of course, those billions of streams, they translate into some serious hardware. This is for his track Krippy Kush, 16 times platinum. Now, in the US Latin market, each platinum certification is 60,000 units. So do the math. This song was an absolute monster. And it was the track that basically introduced the world to a then up-and-coming artist, maybe you've heard of him, Bad Bunny. And he didn't stop there. The momentum just kept building. His next massive hit, Nostálgico, with Rauw Alejandro and Chris Brown, went 18 times platinum. That's well over 1 million units sold. I mean, we're not just talking about a hit song anymore, we're talking about a genuine cultural event. So this just raises this massive question, right? How does one guy from Kingston, Jamaica, end up architecting this worldwide sound? Well, as we're about to see, it wasn't an accident, not at all. It was by design.
Okay, so to understand the architect, you have to go back to the foundations. Let's rewind things all the way back to his roots, right in the heart of Jamaica's music scene. This is where his entire musical DNA was formed.
See, he basically comes from a musical bloodline. It's not just that his dad was in the business. His father founded Micro Music, one of the legendary studios. So he literally grew up inside the engine room of Jamaican music history, with icons like Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaacs just around. So when he started his own label, Head Concussion Records, he wasn't starting from scratch. He had a lifetime of musical education under his belt. Now, his partnership with the dancehall superstar Vybz Kartel, this was more than just a collaboration. It was a masterclass in branding. When Kartel shouted "Hey Rvssian" on the track Life Sweet, that became his audio signature, his trademark. In an industry where most producers are pretty anonymous, that little tag made Rvssian a star in his own right. So he's established himself as a king of dancehall, but he saw an opportunity that, honestly, almost no one else was even looking at. He looked at the global music map, and what he did next would literally change the sound of pop music for a decade. And here it is, from the man himself. He didn't just accidentally fall into the Latin market. No, this was a calculated, strategic move. He saw that cultural connection, that shared love for reggae and dancehall rhythms. He understood the market, and he knew exactly where he was going to build his next bridge. And man, was his timing perfect. Just look at the wave he was about to catch. The Latin music market in the US wasn't just growing, it was exploding. It was hitting record highs and totally outpacing the rest of the music industry. And he also saw how this growth was happening. It was almost all digital. 98% of the revenue was coming from streaming. Well, that was absolutely perfect for his modern, club-ready style, and for how music was starting to spread like wildfire across the globe. So he sees this movement coming. But he doesn't just join it, he helps create a whole new one. His track, Privado, is pretty much considered the sonic blueprint for what became Latin trap. He blended the sounds of Kingston, Atlanta, and San Juan, and cooked up a completely new dominant subgenre. And the results of that strategic vision, well, they were spectacular. This table right here is the undeniable platinum-plated proof. From Krippy Kush all the way to Nostálgico, these numbers show a level of dominance that very few producers ever achieve in a single market, let alone one they just decided to enter.
But Rvssian's ambition went way beyond just making hit records. He was ready to become a full-on music mogul. Because, you know, making hits is one thing, but building an actual empire, that's a whole other ballgame.
So, in a huge move, he partners with Interscope Records and launches his own label, Rich Immigrants. I mean, the name itself is such a powerful statement. It's designed to reflect this reality that so many of the world's most successful people are immigrants, turning his own story into a global brand. And his label isn't just about cutting checks and releasing music. No, it's about building entire careers. It's about putting in place the business structure that he felt was missing from the dancehall scene. He's personally grooming the next generation of artists, like his flagship star Shenseea, and giving them a direct pipeline to the world stage.
This map really just drives home his unique ability to merge cultures. I mean, from the US to Italy, Nigeria to Argentina, he doesn't see borders in music, he just hears sonic connections. He's built this incredible network, and in the process, created a universal sound that just works, no matter what language it's in.
So what is it? What's the core philosophy that lets one producer consistently shape global trends like this? What's the formula?
And this quote right here, this explains everything. To him, success isn't just about making great beats. That's only 30% of the game. The other 70% is understanding publishing, knowing your split sheets, which is who gets paid what on a song, and mastering long-term business strategy. This business knowledge, he says, is what so many talented people lack, and it's what he's determined to pass on.
So it all boils down to this pretty repeatable process. It's a 4-step formula for turning a regional sound into a global phenomenon. First, you identify an emerging cultural wave. Step 2, you create a new hybrid sound to define that wave. Step 3, you collaborate with the biggest artists to amplify it. And then the crucial final step, you build the business structure to sustain it long term. So as the lines between all these different musical styles and cultures just keep blurring and melting together, producers like Rvssian, they aren't just playing the game, they are literally the architects of what comes next. He proved that sound has no passport, which really just leaves us wondering, what two parts of the world will he connect next?